Hello guys, it's James and Jono, and we're back for our round 11 footy tips. Man, what an absolute fucking stinker. So it's unfortunate how it's happened now 2 weeks in a row. So super annoying. We only won the one bet for the round, and look at a bunch of the misses that we have here. So
Shit footy and shit betting this week. So
yeah, at least last
you've
round
come to the right show.
at least last round a lot of the games were close and made for a good game of footy. Like don't get there was some good games here too, but man, I'll tell you what, like, when I was watching that Doggies Essendon game on Saturday night, like, good on the Dogs, but fucks. Like, when they're so one-sided, and, like, anyone else who doesn't have a bet can just, like, stop watching at half-time, and I'm sitting there, like, forced to watch that shit. Oh, just
Yeah.
for a loss. Anyway, super
If you're a
frustrating.
good, it was a good hate watch of Essendon if you're an Essendon hater. But yeah, there wasn't much else in there in that bet unless you're going unless you had Bailey Dale for 50.
Yeah,
Uh, then you probably tuned out a lot longer earlier than that.
yeah.
So
No, exactly. We'll quickly go through the misses, but before we do, I just have a probably new approach for this week that I think that we should try. So I don't know if anyone is familiar with I should look it up actually. All right, I just had to quickly pause and just get this stuff all sorted. So I think the betting strategy we might take into this round for round 11, it's called the Martingale strategy. And for anyone who's like bet before or done roulette or blackjack, usually like those sort of 50-50 games, I feel like it's very safe and conservative, where you can slowly make a profit. The only negative to it is you can have your losses maybe blow out quick, but it's I'll explain the approach, but essentially I have the graph here, where you would have, like, here's a sort of graph of it, just quickly covering Jono, but I'll put it back. What happens is I'll break you down in your first bet, right? It just say, instead of doing $50 on every game that I've been doing at the moment, let's say we do $10. Why? I'll get there. So $10 you bet on your first game, your bank account goes -10, and then when you win, you get plus 20. So you're up $10. Let's go to the second bet. You do the exact same. You bet $10, your bank account becomes zero, you get 20, you're up 20. So you can already see we're up $10, we're up 20. If we do the same thing again, we're up 30. Now, look what happens when we lose. This is a $10 bet that loses. So we spend $10, our balance goes down to $20. What do you do for the next bet? You double it, right? So you lost 10, you now bet $20. So then if you win, you get plus 40, so essentially it goes 10, 20, 30, 40. You can go up $10 increments, even though it's not every game. So if we expand out to the graph, I'll just quickly just cover Jono just for a second. You can see overall it slowly goes up, but you can see the big dips. That actually happens if we go down. So we do like a $10 bet, $10, 20. So here's a good example, right? Where if you lose four in a row, you do a $10 bet, then you try and do a $20 bet. Then you double that again, you do a $40 bet. You lose that, you do an $80 bet. But as soon as you win that bet, you get plus 160. Your total profit margin becomes $60. So again, you can see you go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. It doesn't matter how sort of many bets you do, you'll go up $10 or whatever bet you decide to use as your base. The only negative, and you can see here, is if you lose 3, 4, 5 in a row, you'll be betting 20, 40, 80, $160. So that's why you start out small. And I've done this before for roulette, and I don't know if you're supposed to or not, but sometimes it's just a quick, easy way just to make a profit that's pretty risk-free. And the bets we're doing, I feel like are pretty good. If we do $2 odds, right, for every game this round, I feel like they're pretty good and better than 50% probability, because we're going players who are hitting 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, some 8 out of 10. So, and we know who's in good form. Jono knows where people are playing. I won't go into it too much. It's hard to kind of explain. I've tried to do a little betting thing
well, yeah,
here.
we'll go
Yeah.
into it more in the when we get to the bets. But yeah,
Yeah.
and I think the important thing is once you do win, you go back to your tens. So
Exactly. So that's maybe going to be the conservative approach. If you don't fully understand what I'm saying, I'm sure there'll be another YouTube video explaining the Martingale system, which I've got up here. And I think it's a bit more of a risk adverse betting system that we're going to do this week if we approach $2 odds, which I'm more likely going to do. But let's say I start off with $20, then I go do 40, or say if I start off with 25, my next bet has to be 50, then 100. So you can see how it can escalate. But yeah, this is a good example, and I think we'll take that into this week just because we've had 2 stinkers in a row. I just thought I would try and show a real life example of that Martingale strategy, just for like a quick, demonstration purposes. But like, just say for example, if we're going to look at $2 odds this week, right? Which is essentially like black or red. I know it's not exactly because there's the zeros, but let's just say like coin flip thing. So if you bet like $10 on red, spin, what do you get? You get red. Sweet. You go up $10, you bet another $10. Spin, what do you get? Red. Okay, well, this is a great example so far. We're up, bet another 10, don't have to do anything tricky, another red. Okay, let's get some losses happening. Okay, here we go. We got a black. We got a loss. So we lose that one, right? We then put 20 on red. Spin. What do we get? Black. There you go. So another loss. So then we put 40 on red. Spin. Green. Okay, well, that's like counts as a loss. So then we have to put 80 on red. Bang. 80 on red. Spin. What do we get? Red. Woohoo. Yay. So then when that one wins, right? When that one wins, make sure to only go back to the 10 bet, your starting bet, right? And you can see we're up like $30 because this started at 2,500. We're now at 2,530. Obviously fake money, but spin, what do you get? Red, awesome. You just keep going with the $10 bets, and that's what we're going to do for the footy bets, right? There you go, another red. It's handy when the losses start happening. Another win. Oh, Jesus. It's handy when... Okay, there we go. Green, which is a loss. So again, just one more time, when you lose, then you double it. So you go to $20, black, so you lose again. Make it $40 because you're doubling the 20, black. So then remember, we're going to double this, so it becomes 80. And bang, what do we get? It's black. We're going to have to double it again, so it's 160. And we are at 160. Spin, green. All right, another loss. So the point, like, hopefully these odds won't be that many losses in a row with what we're doing for footy, but that'll have to be 320. 320 on red, and thankfully we get red there. And then see, when I clear this, 2590. So I think then that's how it works. We've done like 9 spins, and even though you win, you lose, you're just accumulating 10 over time. Obviously, the example with that is you have to have a little bit of reserve just in case, you have to double again. But this is essentially like 50-50 odds. If we're being smart with the selections for footy, like people who are 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, I feel like the probability there is, definitely better than 50%. So, anyway, that was just wanting to do a quick example of that. But yeah, we'll go on to the bets, and I reckon we'll keep that this week because it's been a rough couple of weeks betting. So we'll try and keep it to $2 odds this week. All right, we'll chat soon. Peace. I just wanted to throw this in here. That Martingale strategy I was talking about, just after the roulette thing. I'm either going to put it before or after, however I edit this. It's great in theory to do. It's just hard for me to do because I like posting my bets for the video. I like getting them all done for the week, and I bet on them, show them in the video to, just really solidify that I'm here. I'm betting real money on this. I'm doing everything. Like, these are not just picks or ideas. These are my actual bets. This is what I'm actually doing. So it's hard for me to do that strategy because then I can only really bet on the first one and the rest would be picks. So maybe it's a strategy we implement if we have another really shit week, but I think lowering our odds below $3, which you'll notice is coming up. All the bets that are going to follow are going to be under $3. We're just trying to reduce the risk even more. And if that fails, then I think that Martingale strategy that I just spoke about, we might incorporate that into next week or the following week. But for the meantime, we're just going to reduce the odds first and see how we go from there. But yeah, just wanted to clarify that because I spoke about it a couple times. I've recorded like 3 different sessions, so I forget what's the latest bit of info. But yeah, appreciate trying to be on top of all these things. So too easy. On to the bets with Jono and myself. Anyway, so yeah.
Sounds good.
Yes, sorry.
Let's
Thank you for... Yeah, let's get into the bets. So bet 1, I actually watched this one, and boy, oh boy, Cam Mackenzie just... I posted this on the the YouTube channel straight afterwards, or not the post section. Cam Mackenzie and Joel Jeffrey both had the lowest game time for Hawthorn and Gold Coast. So that is just like, you just can't account for that. Super unlucky.
Yeah, Cam Mackenzie, like, it was a bit of a shock. Like, we thought that he would, like, return and just pick up where he left off. It was only breaking it. He's still got those midfield minutes, which was the crazy thing. So they just didn't utilise him as much. You think him being the fresher body, he would have got that time, but he didn't.
Yeah, well, he did get 57% CBAs. You're right. He was around the stoppages, around the ball, but in total, his game time for that, I had it right here a second ago. Mackenzie, 68%. He was the only Hawthorn player, excluding the subs, that played under 70%. Like, and it's the same with Joel Jeffrey. It just baffles me. I want to start tracking time on ground, because it's like, no matter how much like research you do and stuff. Well, I had a look. Joel Jeffrey gets around 77, 80%. So it's like, oh, we just got effed over there.
Yeah, like, I guess at the end of the day, we can put all the work in. We can see how their form's going. But if they're very high risk players if their time on ground is so fucking low. So yeah.
On the positives though, John Noble, the old Collingwood boy, far out, 1 kilometre gain.
Yeah, you might have convinced me here. We might have to keep backing this boy to the hill.
So Jono, he has butchered it at Collingwood before. John Noble has, and not going over well with Collingwood fans. But I just love his hunger for the footy. Like, just no other better way to say that. Where every time he's looking for a handball receive, wants to kick it long, will do everything he can to get the footy. And far out, I love that. He's my favourite player out of all the Gold Coast backline there.
Yeah, and if you could look at the kick-ins, I would have thought at the start, if you asked me at the start of the year who would have been the kick-in pig, I would have thought it would be Rioli.
Same.
Rioli doesn't even take kick-ins most weeks anymore. It's Noble majority of the time.
Yep. Noble has more than double the second most, and you know who the second most is? It's actually Will Powell. And then it goes Joel Jeffrey, and then it goes Ewan. And Dan Rioli has only taken 6 kickouts this whole year.
I think Rioli's he's playing more higher up the ground. I don't mind Rioli. Like, they're versing St Kilda this week. St Kilda's going to play that disgusting defensive shut-it-down game at Marvel. Noble's just going to be feasting on handball receives this week. So we'll talk about him in the next part of the bid. But yeah.
Yeah, and just a little asterisk there. John Noble only took 4 kickouts. So he's 36. They're not all from kickouts. Like, he is so fucking he wants the footy. So he is by far my favourite. I think I'm taking... So John Noble missed 25 the week before, and I was being conservative. I was like, I'll do 20. But man, I was kicking myself I didn't do 25. Because the thing is, if I do John Noble for 25... I'm not going to include Joel Jeffrey. I still might have included Cam Mackenzie, but I'm less inclined to include more legs. So, anyone else you want to speak on? Amon was fine as usual. The halfbackers did well in this game.
Yeah, Amon did his thing. Got all his kick-ins. He looked great. There wasn't too much else that I really thought out of this game. Bit hard to get a read on Hawthorn off the 5-day break. Can't remember who they're actually playing this week. Who have they got? Brisbane actually in Melbourne. So we'll have to look at. There'll be a lot of good chance for picks in that game. But yeah, on that one, not too much else on last week's game.
No, nice. So. And I'll say this again. We said it in the last video, but we rambled on for an hour. We'll try and keep these reviews relatively short because we like to allocate a bit more time in the betting portion, the back end of the video.
Yep.
We'll speak about most of the players. So, all right, here's one that was super unlucky. I've included in the players who missed, but I won't include it in their stats following, and that's Jack Silvani, who got 5. But I just want to say, yes, he got subbed off at halftime on 5 posies, but in that first quarter, he got 4 posies, and they were all from outmarking like Joel Amati or getting a free kick. I think he had one where he was receiving of the switch of the play. That's all I'm asking for Silvani, and that's what I know he can do. If he gets 4 disposals in a quarter just by playing his role, I like that. Yes, he only got 1 posi in the second, but that was after a heavy marking contest in the first, and then he had another one in the second, and he was just battered and bruised, and you can't blame him after that. From that first quarter that we had him, I liked that first quarter.
Yeah, I think that's a fair summary. Like, we won't get a look at him now for a couple of weeks, so unfortunately with the injury, but yeah, I don't think unfortunately with an injury, you can't really predict it. So,
and like with that leg, with that bet, it's just, it sucks. So it's an injury, but if he played that first quarter and then didn't have any injuries, I liked what I was seeing there. So it's not a bad pick.
And if you look at the rest of our legs, sorry, man, to zoom in on it, but we were looking pretty good with the rest of our legs. So
yeah. No, I think so too. Well, speaking of the good portion of those legs, we have George Hewitt, who got 27 out of 25. Look, well, I wouldn't say like great. There was definitely a patch where he got a bunch of footy. I can't remember which quarter it was. Maybe it was like the end of the second quarter where he shot up to like 13 near halftime or something. But that's what you get with a player of that caliber. He can get 6 posies in 5 minutes. So absolutely love that. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, if you wanted to speak about the other two, sometimes I feel like I talk too much.
No. This is all good, man. Matty Roberts. I didn't mind his game. It was okay. Nothing like too scary. Chad Warner, I was a bit worried about earlier, but then him and Heaney just fucking turned the fucking Jets on.
What the fuck? So I, admittedly, when Silvani got subbed out, I lost a lot of interest in this game. So Heaney started the game pretty slow. I checked at the end. I was like, what the fuck? He got 38 posies, and yeah, Warner had 30 and 2 goals. And oh, yeah, very insane. I still like Chad Warner for 20 more than Heaney. I know that sounds weird because Heaney got 38, but Chad Warner always has much better value, and his one miss this year has been an injury sick tack sub game. So I like Warner more.
Yeah, James Jordan, he's still legit. He's legit still. We've still got to look out for him. We called it, I think, before last week. We said he was going to go to Walsh, and he kept Walsh to 19. So Walsh missed. So we've got to keep an eye on that James Jordan tag.
Speaking of just other players that we didn't include, Adam Chera bounced back, and we advised if he's playing in the mid, he's going to hit because he had to play in backline a little bit for last week, which is why he only got 18. And then there's one player from Sydney who I also want to mention. I just lost Nick Blakey. So Nick Blakey got 13, he looked like a player I've never seen before in that first half. And ironically, that's kind of when I stopped watching when Silvani got taken off. But he ended the game with 13. I like a player of that caliber to bounce back. He just looked completely off.
Yeah, I'd be happy to go back to him. Riley Bice as well. There's a question without notice here, James, but we'll look at it in the next part of the video. I'd be interested to see how his form's tracking for 15 because he only got 11, and usually he's been getting a fair bit of ball too. So
yeah, off the top of my head, I think he's had like 3 misses. Looks great in the half-back line. We'll mention it later, but just care Mills might come back, maybe do a little half-back sub role. I don't know, but he did play a game in the VFL. So
that's a good point. Yeah, Mills, I would assume, comes back as a sub.
Yeah, I think so too. He's played like 7 games in 2 years or something.
That's the death of Rowbottom.
Oh, yeah, true. Keep that in mind. Anyone else you want to mention from the bet or this game, or we'll talk about it more?
Nah, I thought we called it pretty well. We can't do much with it.
That's what shits me the most. You call it so well. Like, I feel like a lot of the players we picked, even the ones like not here, the ones in the XL, you call it so well, and it just injury happens, is what it is.
We were talking on Friday before this video. I think it was I can't remember, but off air anyway. And we were saying we were a bit worried about the weather conditions of the game, and especially Silvani was the guy we questioned, and we were like, nah, he should be fine. First quarter, we're like, this isn't going to bother him, and then an injury hits.
Yeah, so very, very unlucky.
Not much you can do.
No, but yeah, a lot of the other ones hit, like Will Haywood for a goal, Justin McInerney I had highlighted for 20, so. Literally, Oliver Florin hit. The only player who missed was Blakey I highlighted, and then Riley Bice missed, but Jack Silvani who got the injury game, so very unlucky.
Yep.
Moving on to Game 3. So Game 3 was the Magpies Adelaide Crows game. John, I'll let you take over this one for your team.
Yeah, let's go. The game of the round. No, it was it was a game in 2 halves. First half was dry, and like we said, unfortunately, we picked the wrong forward. We said that these Adelaide forwards were going to feast, and Riley Thilthorpe was like, I thought it had been him. It was Fogarty. He feasted in that first half. Tex Walker was feasting early too. They ended up having to sub him out just because the rain hit, and they were looking too slow out there. Thilthorpe had just a bit of a down game. He just couldn't get really near it, but Josh Dacos was just fucking everywhere.
Yeah,
so he looked great.
Yeah, I was very keen to bounce back. So I'm pretty sure it was the week before he missed. I think he got a 19, and it happened earlier in the year. He got a 15, and I'm like, look, if he's going to have like a hiccup game like that once a month, so be it. But I'm ready to jump on him the next game. We did. And it's actually, just speaking of, Rory Laird and Jordan Dawson all missed. 3 of those legs missed the week before. Funnily enough, the one who did hit the week before is Keys, who, man, could not get a touch.
He had one shot early, and he didn't. When he got it early, I'm like, this is it. This is the goal. He'll nail this. And he didn't even get any. He just whiffed it. I couldn't believe it.
Well, I'm glad you had your eyes on that. I was out, so I actually only got to watch the second half of this. And far out, he looks nowhere near it.
The Dan, I'm not going to bet on Dan Houston. We talk about him a lot. I'm not going to bet on Dan Houston until we see at least a 5-week patch here. Dacos this week against North. I like that again, especially because Nick's going to get a tag from Will. They're going to bring Will Phillips back this week, I assume, to tag Nick Dacos. They did it last year, and it was one of the best tags they've done. They'll bring it back. So Josh is going to be free off that halfback again.
Yeah,
So,
no, good call. Well, the other player that we've spoken about a lot on this show, and that's Ned Long, who got 19 posies. But you know why he didn't hit? Because he got 70% game time. He's playing less than 3/4 of footy out there. So that's a great one that we just stopped.
And he's getting all the praises you could ever ask for. The coach, every press conference, they're talking about how good he is,
Give him another 10%.
I just don't see. That's what I mean. I don't think they see any. They don't. I don't think. I think they're satisfied with what they're getting. They don't want more.
Yeah, I see where you're going. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they want. I think the role they have him in is the role they want him to play.
Yeah,
so
that is a good
we
observation.
have to steer clear.
Yep. No, that is actually a great point of view because you're right. I think he's playing great. Why not give him more game time? But yeah, as John is saying, if the coaching staff's happy with him, he's doing what he needs to do. So
it's literally every press conference they talk about how happy and how glad they got Ned Long and everything. I don't think they want more.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, great point. So just last thing before we move on, I just think I might just give Ben Keys a miss next game. I don't care what he's paying. He's shit me off too much. Goal, 15 posies. He's been so consistent, and as soon as I bet on him, he's missing every second week. So I think
especially if we drop it down if we're going to drop it down to lower odds, I think he's the one that we could remove. So,
look, don't get me wrong. He's been great odds, great value before, but I think there's just a shit you off factor where a player just bothers you, and I've just had enough for Keys at the moment.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm definitely with it. I'm happy to bin Keys.
Yeah, just temporarily though. I guarantee he'll entice me later. Was this the fourth game? The Port Adel. Oh my fuck! Another injury. The Port Geelong game. So Horn.
This is good because we didn't have to fucking watch this disgusting game because it was over in fucking 2 seconds. So.
Yeah, I know. But then I'm forced to watch the GWS Freo game where Ware has just gone missing. Oh my. I've been so unlucky and just shafted. Well, we all have in this regard. But Horn Francis, who does his hammy 5-10 minutes into the game or something, gets 3 posies. Every other leg is fine. Connor Rosie's getting so much on the half back line. Sean Manor, I think, was just maybe a little behind at halftime. Came back strong. Willem Drew, so much goes right, and you just can't account for injuries. And to be fair, I think there were 4 hammies for this game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was 4 hammies and another. I think it was a knee injury on top of that. So it's 5 injuries.
Absolute carnage in this game. Yeah, it was wild.
And in fairness, you look at our slip there, it's not the worst. It still looked pretty good out there. Rosie, again, I'm happy to go with him every week now.
Yep.
Especially if they're going to get pumped and he's still getting that ball. Their teams aren't going to bother manning him up if they're getting pumped. So.
No, yeah. I think so. Because did you notice Zach Butters? I'm pretty sure he
got clamped.
He got clamped.
So,
I'm trying to find his posies. I can't see it. Just
20.
Oh, that's why I have to go down the list that far. Okay, so
he got clamped. I don't know who I can't remember who they're playing this week. Sorry, off the top of my head. Do you have it there?
I can have a quick
question
look.
without notice. Freo. Will they go with the Wagner? I like Butters to beat Wagner. He's a bit tougher. He'll run through a Wagner.
Yeah. No, I think so too. But actually, the Wagner tag, I don't know how realistic that is because that was pulled out of a hat, the week before.
Yeah, I think he's Nick's not as contested. Butters loves contested. He'll happily punch on with Wagner if it comes to it. So I like him more to break through a Wagner tag. Mullen, someone we're gonna have to note down.
Oh, the Geelong tag. Yeah, that was a great job on Butters. So that is a good point.
Especially with this Thursday night, this Dogs mate, someone we're going to have to note down. Someone maybe that gets Bailey Dale, maybe gets an Ed Richards. Adel will go to Bond.
It'd be an Ed Richards thing. I can't imagine him going to Dale. I think, yeah. Anyway, we'll get to that in a second. But last one I wanted to... Oops, I just closed my tab. Last one I wanted to mention from this game. Bergman, we just noted him last week. Is he back? Because he was paying great odds. And if he's playing on ball like that, in that midfield role, he was tagging Smith, he did go into the back line a little bit when Jones got injured, but that was later, maybe halftime or something, or second quarter. But yeah, Bergman's looking really good, and we mentioned him last week.
What did he, touch-wise, did he get?
19.
19.
Yeah.
Oh, for 15s, I like it. They did drop that CBAs down a lot compared to the previous week, so
Well,
maybe
I,
it's
I think
something
it was that Lockie Jones injury that threw him back, but
Yeah.
I can see him using that again. And just another thing to note, which I love, 92% game time. He's an on-field boy. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's someone that's one we're going to have to look at the teams in. Are they going to replace Jones if they're not bringing anyone in for Jones, then Bergman's probably going back. So someone we're going to look out for.
No, I think that's a good one. Moving on to the next one. The next game was, we were speaking of it. Oops, shit. Hold on, I've accidentally clicked something. Where is our bet? The GWS Freo game. So, Harry Himmelberg, I will give another chance. I like Harry Himmelberg. But I'll tell you who I'm not giving another chance. I think it's just Jacob Ware. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt against the Geelong game last week. He plays wing, gets up and back of the ground, gets positive in defence, forward. Great runner. Just not being used. He will make space on like the weak side, but Lockie Ash, Lockie Whitfield are making such a run off half back. They don't need to use him. They'll just kick it up the guts or down further in the field. I don't know. And he's missing by quite a lot. And you know what shits me about Ware? I don't know if you guys noticed. His bench rotation is always in the last 5 minutes. So if he doesn't have a touch in the first 5-10 minutes, you know he's already got like just such a fine amount of time left. So if he takes a while to get going, it's already too late. So he has to start the game on, or that's it.
And I think he's still pretty young. I'm pretty sure he's pretty young. He seems to be that like maybe started the season hot and he's feeling a bit tired now. Maybe he needs a bit of run in the twos kind of guy. We could just maybe give him a miss for a couple of weeks, just see how he goes.
It's just annoying because he's like 8 out of 10. As soon as we bet on him, just miss. So
the other one there is Finn Callahan. He's out for 4 weeks. So
what happened there?
Shoulder.
Oh shit! So still no Kelly, no Callahan.
No Callahan, no Kelly. Tom Green. All the ball you want.
For 50 plus? No. Well,
Well, even unfortunately, maybe this is something we need to be careful. Like, look at our bet there. We did load up on the Giants there. Giants get smacked off the park. That comes where it comes back at you a bit, doesn't it? So, but I wouldn't have thought. I did not see Freo coming out and doing that.
No, especially this is the second time Giants played at home. You thought they'd be.
Well, Giants are away this week, so load up on them.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's a good point. This was a game, I was probably swapping between the Port Adelaide Geelong game, even though my bet was dead for that one. I don't know. I don't know. I had two on both screens. It's hard to watch. I hate the double overlap of games. Connor Iden's been the safest houses, best 15 plus posi bet I think we've had all year. So, yeah, I think I'm off Ware. Himmelberg I'll hit again. The other two are fine. Obviously Callahan's not playing now, but...
Yeah.
Anyone else you want to mention?
No, that's all good for me.
On to the Saturday night game. This was the blockbuster, only game on Saturday. Only one to watch. And boy, if you loved watching doggies get the footy, this was the game for you. Otherwise, far out. So for all of us who were barracking for Nick Martin did great. He was probably the only Essendon player who got a lot of it. And the boys in the back line, far out. Roberts and Redmond, great. But the midfielders like Zach Merritt and Jai Caldwell, Jesus, they just got so outplayed and could not get the footy. And again, just the only little benefit of the doubt for Caldwell, the only benefit of the doubt I'll give him, one, he's coming off a 4-week hammy, but yes, he played the week before, but he got 65% game time. I think they're just, I don't know, maybe trying to look after him. There was no point playing him. It's very frustrating. But that being said, I am still bullish on him. I'm happy to give him a start.
I think Parrish worries me. Parrish really worries me.
Is he? So he's either playing a game in the VFL or he played. So he might be back this week.
He's no longer on the injury list. So if he's not in the senior team, then he's playing too. He's not in their best 22, I guess.
Well, no. Yeah. Only just because I have a close eye on him. He has to play a game of VFL first before coming into the AFL.
Oh, so, I thought he. Okay.
Yeah, no.
So wow.
I've been looking into that. He's in my fantasy draft team. So.
Yeah. If Parrish is not in the team, I'm definitely happy to ride Caldwell to bounce back.
Yeah,
Parrish does worry me, though, a bit.
I think Parrish is back in a fortnight, so it could be one more chance to get Caldwell, but you're right. When Parrish is back, I think that is definitely something to look out for.
Well, it's just, maybe it might not be the death of Caldwell, but it's just something we have to look at and see what's good. Because Parrish is not a guy you can hide anywhere.
Where else is he going to play? He's like a Matt Crouch. He has to play mid.
Yeah, well, Caldwell, he's a guy they can sneak into that forward flank. They did it last year. They're happy to do it and waste him there, kind of thing.
Well, he did it.
But Nick,
So
you go.
I was going to say they did it for the first half of last year, and then he got that sort of midfield role and really flourished. So I hope they don't take it away from him now. Parrish is coming.
I know exactly, and I think it'd be Parrish has been a warrior for them. He's been an All-Australian. He's done his job and all that stuff. But is he the future there? I don't think so. I know he's still got some age behind him, but start getting a game into this Caldwell kid. He looks really good.
Oh, yeah.
So, Nick Martin, I think, I can't remember. We'd have to get this. We need to actually do that stat. But he's missed once in 3 years or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember. I was chatting to Jono off camera, but I was looking at, because Nick Martin missed like a couple of weeks ago. It was either him or Rory Laird, and it was like his 120. He had one miss in 3 years, and I was like, if any player we're bouncing back on, it's Nick Martin, and he's looked great the last 2 weeks. So.
And happy to ride him every week. He's a guy that you pencil in,
especially when they're giving you $1.20 for him. Like, it's just no brainer.
We are this gold, like we've already called it, but this Goldstein thing's, it's for real. It's fucking, it's real. The only team I'm not going to bet against Goldie against is West Coast.
Or Jared Witts. Oh, actually, he'd probably still get a bunch of footy against Goldie. Well,
I don't mind Jared Witts in that game, but and especially this week, Nank likes to get the ball. Nank racked it up on the weekend too. I really like Nank, but this is like, what did we have him for 15 and he got 27?
So a lot of the doggies got a lot of footy. Like, holy shit! Like,
these are inflated numbers, 100%.
But having said that, that is a ruckman, right? So it's actually odd. On fan footy, it says he got 26, but here, 27. As your ruckman who's getting 20 plus posies, that's fantastic. And as Jono said, anyone who's going against Toddy Goldstein has been free money. And Jono's like phrase he's been saying to me, which I love, it's like, ride it till it dies at this point against Goldie.
Yeah. So. And the only thing that worries me, and I still think this week against Nate, I feel like they're going to have to help this poor Toddy out. He's fucking suffering. I reckon they might bring in that other kid. I forgot his name. He's barely played VFL anyway. I reckon they might even have to bring him alongside Goldie to give him some support, because he's just getting destroyed in there. If
anything by that, it means I'm still keen to back the ruckman who's versing them at the moment.
Yeah. And like we said, in last year, Goldie's doing his job. He's playing exactly how he played. He's done it, but it's just he can't keep up with the Timmy English, and I don't think he'll be able to keep up with Nank.
Yeah.
So.
No, otherwise, Johannesson, fantastic there. I'm pretty sure a lot of the players there in the back line still hit. Bramble was a sub, so we couldn't gauge from that, but he got 14 posies as well, so in 60% game time. So I know we're not really on Bramble, but and Ed Richards, one of the best midfielders here.
Oscar Baker back this week. Named like the teams teams are at now. He was the guy we were really bullish on. Surely a sub risk. Him and Bramble just too similar in that sub risk role, I reckon. So
sub risk role maybe yes, but I like Oscar Baker. He did play a lot of wing, but then he was thrown into half back, and I feel like he is definitely hungrier than Bramble. Like, if it's hard it feels like such a subjective scale. But having watched Baker, I like him more. But again, we'll get to it when we are betting, but we're trying to do a safer round. So, but I
think he's one. No, it's not going to be a tag or anything, and he won't tag. But he's a bit of a hard nut in there. He'll be one to fucking go after Bailey as well, like a bit of force in that.
There's going to be beef in that game.
I cannot wait to watch that game. I don't think now dogs aren't going to tag. Like, we'll talk about it, but
it's hard not to.
Yeah, we'll post about that game, but. I know, because we won't be able to record for that one.
True, yeah.
But Bailey Smith, I don't think he'll get a tag, but they're going to give him some attention. And then the corresponding side, Mullen, he's got a buddy 5 guys that he could probably tag in that game. So that's fucking feisty.
I can't wait. I'm going to have to call you before, like when we're doing that post. I need to get your thoughts on that one. But is there anyone else? Anyone else you want to speak to?
That's all for me. I think on that one, Essendon, I feel like there's a big opportunity for bounce backs this week. I can't remember who they're actually playing off the top of my head.
Just while you're looking, I just want to note the back line again. I said it just at the start, but Robertson, Redmond, and McGrath have all been smashing it since Ridley's gone down, and we just really have to consider them as well for next week.
They got Richmond, so big chance for them to respond.
Yeah,
get some media off their back. Brad Scott's gotten a bit of attention this week. I expect them to
all that
respond.
James Hird news as well. I saw he was on the Channel 9 show. But it's all interesting at the moment at Windy Hill.
Yeah. So even for a game that no one's going to watch, there'll be maybe a couple of people tune in just to see how they're going. So anyway.
No, nice. So now to the Sunday games. So you'll notice for all the Sunday games, I didn't bet. I'm going to admit I sort of tapped out. I'm like, I'm having awful luck, so I didn't do any of the Sunday bets. Even though I went to the Brisbane game, I'm like, I've had enough. This week has been so shit.
Do they get added to the totals?
Oh yes. So I've subtracted these because it's the tips I provide. I did actually add the next game, but we'll get to it in a second. But yes, all these have been accounted to the totals, but I just didn't
keep us honest.
Yes, so. Yeah. So these are counted as losses. Don't worry. But George Wardlaw, who missed by 1. Again, so like I said, I didn't really tap out. I had to leave at quarter time to go to the Gabba in time, so I'm not sure if you were able to watch this while you're on holiday. Or...
Yeah, I did. I was very surprised. North didn't look like they got the job done, but geez, I would have thought that they would have done it a bit better in a bit better style.
Yeah, I was shocked. Like,
strange.
Luke Parker has not missed all year playing for North, and as soon as he versus Richmond, one of like the bottom 2 teams, 15 posies, and I'm like, what the fuck? It's like and George Wardlaw, who's come in looking like a bull in the North Melbourne mid. What? Oh my god! Like
I don't know what was going on there. He was still being his hard nut self. Like there was one play and he bullied fucking Bloston off the ball, and it was a loose ball. And I'm like, oh fuck, this kid's hard as nut. And he just couldn't get near it.
It's like you got like Jack Darling getting more posies than him and stuff. It's like, and Colby McKercher, who's been fucking awful this year. Like, he's just playing a different role. It's not like on him and everything, but he's having a great game. Tom Powell hit, and Tom Powell's been our worry. We've said don't bet on Tom Powell because Wardlaw's back. He's missed with Wardlaw, and then the roles of like it was all flipped.
And honestly, 76% for 50, like 76% is more than enough to get 15. In my opinion.
Oh, yeah, no, he should have got 15.
And Luke Parker, 81%. Like, it's not, we can't, there's nothing, I'm definitely happy to go Wardlaw again.
Like, and
Luke Parker, sorry, you go.
Oh, I was just going to say, you're speaking of that, I just wanted to add on to what you're saying. Like, look down here. George Wardlaw, 10 out of 10. He was $1.18. Luke Parker, 9 out of 10. You know why he's not 10 out of 10? Because one of those games are from Sydney. Otherwise, he had not missed all year for North.
Yeah, and I'm definitely happy to ride Wardlaw. Parker, I think I'm pretty happy to ride again, but maybe we look at him this week. But Wardlaw, I'm more than happy to ride.
Yeah, and if it does, boost their odds for next week, all the more reason to. Just a couple of players that weren't in our bet that I want to include. Dylan Stevens from Sydney, who came over and is playing for North, 18 posies. Just again, from my
Looks really good.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of the first quarter, and I just liked what I see. Just looking strong and confident and just standing out, so... someone I want to consider for next week if they're paying good. Oh, and our boy Dow, we said we're never going to back someone like sort of after that tax sub risk. You know what was crazy for me? I was bullish on Luke Trainer, and then he was the one who got tax subbed and missed, and then Thompson Dow hit. I'm like, oh, what is going on? It's like no matter how much footy you watch, it just sometimes you can't predict those things.
Yeah. Nank, I know we already spoke about him. He got 15 against the best ruck. Well, top 2 ruckman of the comp in Cherry. Cherry's a beast. Still got 15 touches. Yeah, I like him this week. He's going to feast on fucking Goldie's corpse.
I do like that. We'll have to remember that for next week. Anyone else you want to talk about before we throw off?
Not too much. Cherry. I don't think there's any value left in Cherry for 15s.
No, we rode him for a bit though after a couple of misses. So
other one was. Sorry, I believe we highlighted him. Sheasel for 25. I would have penciled that in.
Oh yeah, he was $1.22, and we highlighted him. But yeah, 20 posies. You're right. Again, so I didn't watch this game, so I can't comment too much. He had a scoring shot, so I don't know how much forward he played. But it said started
half forward. Yeah. So against Pies.
Yeah,
they won't tag him. It's someone we'll need to think about.
Again, apologies for not watching much of this. I was going to the Brisbane game, but he had a stint last year, for anyone who doesn't remember, where he played half forward and it just ruined his stats for a bit. But if that happens again, watch out for it. But otherwise, if he's playing half back...
Maybe we might do a wait and see on him.
Yeah, just because we just didn't have the eyes on him this week. All right, moving on to the second last game. All right, this one I was at. This one I had eyes on. This one hits. And
this is the one we hit.
Yeah, we hit one. I didn't bet on it, but as you can tell, it was pretty good. Tom McDonald, he was the one I was most worried about, but he looked great in the first quarter. He's got a weird sort of shit-looking kicking action, but he's great at marking. He
looks like shit, but,
but he gets the footy. That's all that matters.
He gets the job done.
Yeah, and Dunkley, Petrarca I was bullish on. Everyone there I absolutely love. Bowie I love as a halfbacker there. Darcy Wilmot I love, and yes, his prices went up because Kitty Coleman came back, and Kitty actually had a good game and was not subbed, surprisingly. I thought they were going to really look after him. 19 posies in his first game back, and Wilmot hit, Zorko hit. Like, Lions lost, but got a lot of the footy. So, good game for the punt. Not to watch if you're a Lions fan.
This is an interesting one. Tom McDonald kicked a goal. Did you see why?
Yes, and now I can't remember. Did he get like a 50-meter? Like the thing is, I watched the whole game. I do remember him kicking one.
It says that he played. I have to say I didn't watch most of it. I watched a little bit of it. It does Harry Petty line forward. So if Harry Petty's staying forward and Tom McDonald's back, I'm more than happy.
Yeah, no. So I don't think he played forward at any point in time. I think something happened. And again, sorry, I might quickly just look at this while
he might have just got a mark on the outside of like an intercept and then got a 50.
Yeah.
So.
God, my brain is so bad at remembering a lot of these things. But
that's all right. I'm more than happy to go him again. I think. Yeah. Anyway, you were at this game. Anything else noteworthy?
I was, and now I'm just wondering why the F I don't remember, because I do remember him kicking one, but I don't remember what eventuated or how that started.
That's all right. Well, we can pull it up when we talk about him next week on the next video. So.
No, I was just looking at it now. Yeah, here we go. Both receiving a 50-meter penalty. I was right. So McDonald converted a goal after that. All right,
that's fine then.
I can at least just get that off my mind. So yeah, I remember it was something happened where he's not playing forward. But yeah, otherwise, just one I liked that I mentioned, Cozzy Pickett got 21, but I don't know how much of that is also to do with Melbourne, like obviously beating Brisbane and playing well, but it's kind of hard. I don't want to bet on someone who's relying on the team.
Jack Viney back.
Oh yeah, we'll take some minutes out.
Yeah, and the other one, which I don't know if we highlighted him, but Trent Rivers, he's been playing a bit of CBAs.
He was, yeah.
We'll have to wait. I'd be too scared to bet him with Jack Viney back.
Yeah, so, I noticed that when I was at the game too. I was like, fuck, Trent Rivers is it like all these stoppages? So
yeah, and I think then like Jack Viney, Clayton Oliver, two guys that can't play anywhere but fucking midfield. So
yeah. Well, that tagging role, like what's his name? Clayton Oliver.
Neal.
Yeah, Lachie Neale. So Lachie Neale still had like a good game, but I mean, starting off, I was like, this tagging thing's legit. I thought they were kind of taking the piss, but Oliver was just all over.
It's not like the Will and Drew tag. It's not like hardcore shutdown, but
but he's looking for him at every stoppage first, and then he'll go get the ball. And Clayton Oliver like kicked a goal at one of the stoppages, but I was like, it's crazy because Clayton Oliver's usually the one who's like getting the tag like a year or two ago.
Yeah, $1 million man on running around. So Dunks looked great. Wilmot. Cheap, free money. How did you find Kitty Coleman?
Oh, really liked. Far out. There was a play because I sit on the broadcast side and I can't remember like when it was, but Kitty Coleman kicked one from like 70 out from, on the Brisbane's defensive side, just straight down the wing over this Melbourne player, straight into the hands. I think it was either like Noah Ainsworth or something. I was like, what a fucking amazing kick. Like he's just such a great kick. Played awesome, but also plays very like nonchalant, like very chill, but just gets a lot of the footy. And
is it the death of Zorko and Wilmot?
Well, it's hard.
I know
because
they all got the ball, but he only played 68%. Kitty.
Yeah, I would have to see it because that was the first game. I'm pretty sure that was the first game Zorko and Kitty have both played halfback together ever. Because Zorko only went back into halfback when Kitty was out, and otherwise he was a forward before that.
Yeah, but it's Kitty, Wilmot and Zorko.
Well, the trade-off is Fletcher's out now, so Fletcher's on the wing.
Yeah, Fletcher's
But Fletcher was getting 20 plus posies, so if Fletcher's on the wing, Fletcher still got 20 posies, but he is where they're getting their footy now.
Yeah, I think Wilmot. If we can get Wilmot at a good price again, we're going there. Kitty's minutes are only going to go up. That's the only scary thing.
I think so too. So it's something to consider, but I still like the boys back there is the short answer, even with Kitty.
That's the three legs this week will be Kitty, Wilmot and Zorko.
Yeah.
25 each.
Yeah, 100%. No, last one I want to mention. So I was bullish on Charlie Cameron for a bit for a goal. I think we got him at $1.20 when he missed like 3 in a row. He's missed again, but someone I'm bullish on, Kai Lohmann. He's had just a bit of an injury interrupted preseason. He got tax subbed again, but I just think him and Charlie, I'm more bullish on Kai because he's younger and just got more spark. I just want to keep a tab on him for a goal. So I don't know if he's kicked the goal all year, but Kai Lohmann is very down at the moment. So I'm just someone I'm watching for because someone's going to have to kick a lot of Brisbane's
Game
goals.
I will be watching until the Collingwood game starts this week, but the Brisbane Hawks at the G. Hawks touched Brisbane up last time they played them. I think you went to that one, James.
Yeah, it was like around 13 or something. It was like the last loss Brisbane had for a bit.
And so this will be a bit of it'll be interesting. I don't know what to expect in this one. So.
Yeah, well, last time they played, I was at Marvel for that one. So hopefully at the G, it's completely different.
Oh, was it? It wasn't at MCG. Was it? Marvel?
It was Marvel. Yeah, I remember being under the roof for that one.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. Otherwise, I could chat about this game forever. I love the Lions. Just the Ashcroft brothers both hit their respective bracket, 30 and 20 for Will Ashcroft, Levi. Yeah, well, great. Moving on for the last game of the round. So again, by the time I got home, this game had already finished. But Ryan Marrick for 22, being free money. Yep. Ryan Marrick, if he's over $1.20 for 20, you take him. You don't think, you don't worry, you just do. So he's been fantastic.
Honestly, I know I even like him for that sprinkle now for $1.10. Once these bookies wake up to it and realize that he's not worth the money anymore, it's fucking great. Yeah. I don't like him for 25 though. But,
that's funny enough because I still kind of do, but I would go 20. Yeah, I would go 20.
Yeah, but that 20 is just that. I
20 is like a lock. Yeah, 25 is like a maybe.
Yeah, but I messaged you. I actually watched a fair bit of this game. I messaged you, and I'm like, "This is." He's literally kicking it in, gets the handball back, chips it, gets the handball back, and then bombs it down the line, and then he just stops and goes and gets his rest and waits for the ball to come back.
Well, so that's the thing because I think he's ready to get more. Well, I don't know if he's ready, but he's capable of more. Like I know he's getting 20, and like that's a great job. He's turned it around. He's like most improved player this year. But like the crazy thing is, I still see him getting more. But that's why we'll take 20 for the moment.
Sad news. Like, obviously, we're not happy. Like, it's very sad news that Jeremy McGovern. It sounds like watch his space, but he might be retiring now.
Oh shit!
I don't know if you heard that.
No.
The concussion there, he's going to get inspected by an expert and potentially may. Now, it's not great for Jeremy McGovern and stuff like that, but now Ryan Marrick, it's his back line now. It's his keys. And hopefully, I really hope, I love watching Jeremy McGovern play. He's one of my favourite players of all time. I hope he gets back to play, but at the moment, Ryan Marrick's going to own that back line.
Yeah, so. That is shit news. I do remember he got concussed a while ago. Well, that sucks if he doesn't play.
We actually had him in, we bet on him that day.
Yeah.
That he got concussed. It is sad news. Like I was at, just as an anecdote, I was at the 2018 grand final, and I've never seen a man destroy backline better.
I remember he got that mark that started the chain that went to like Dom Sheed's mark. So
I've never seen a man just tear a game in half like he did. But yeah, hopefully he gets back to so that we can get a couple of goodbye games for Jeremy McGovern. But until then, Ryan Marrick looks like legit.
I hope it's kind of like that Tom Liberatore thing where there was a bit of a scare, had a couple of months off, came back, and so hope it's...
That's where we're at. The only difference I'd say is McGovern's a lot older. Maybe doesn't see the need to come back. So, but anyway, back to the betting. Ryan Marrick, it's his back line. Everyone else, honestly, watching on the weekend, everyone else is scared to have the ball in that back line. They look to give it to him as soon as they get it. So, yeah.
I think that is a great pickup. Liam Baker, again, I hope, I don't know if you have any more comment, but he missed, and that's his first miss for West Coast this year. So I haven't had a chance. Yeah, you reckon bounce back? Yeah.
I forgot who they had. Sorry, they've got
next
Adelaide.
Week. Yeah, sorry.
Adelaide. I still like Baker. He's the hard nuts, and especially in a game where they're not competitive. They won their first game this year. That's a bit of an anomaly for West Coast at the moment. So in a game where they're getting beaten like normal, all these kids don't get the ball as much. Baker comes to the party a bit more, I think. So yeah.
No, like that. Wanganeen Miller, I was hesitant on for 25, but the only reason it was because they were versing West Coast. And you've probably heard me say before, a lot of backmen who play West Coast usually miss. But Wanganeen Miller is playing up a little bit higher, demanding the footy, and West Coast, we obviously know they won, but he was great. So
he's so good. He's so good. And for a team that doesn't want to ever attack, the ball has to go through into his hands for them to go forward. So Ryan Burns, solid. Same. Gives us what we need every week. So
the thing is, I just wanted to mention again. I didn't watch it, but I mentioned this in the video. So Mason Wood came back. My worry with Wood was I love him when he's playing wing. He can get 15 to 20 posies, but if he's playing more half forward there and wing role, I don't like at all. My worry was he was going to take away from Burns's sort of half back wing role. But it seems to me that Mason Wood played 90% game time, got 10 posies and 2 goals, which indicates to me he played mostly half forward.
He played a lot of forward. He looked actually okay early, in fairness. He was their only avenue to goal early. But he looked okay. One guy, which we did talk about in the video that we forgot to add to the bet, Jack Higgins for 2 goals.
Yeah,
I think he kicked 5.
Oh, fuck. God damn it.
Yeah.
5 goals.
So, yeah, like...
I hate it when I miss those obvious ones.
There's only 2 guys. I know we said Cyril, but there's only 2 guys that I think, which we didn't include in our bet, in fairness, but there's only 2 guys that I think we're happy to really include. It's Hogan and Higgins right now. So,
yeah. And actually, I mentioned Georgiades for 2. What did he get? He got 1 goal, 3. Okay, so yeah, there's like I said, or like Jono said, there's only a couple that we will dabble in, and even we note them, but we don't always include them. I'd obviously much rather the disposal bracket instead.
Well, Hogan, I know it's not even worth the 2.
Lost
anymore,
his value at the moment. Yeah, he was like $1.13 or 20, or I don't know. He was short as shit.
Yeah, and so it's not even worth it. And Higgins with another 5, like maybe
he might be in the same boat.
Maybe he's no longer.
Yeah. No.
I think he's one that we definitely. Well, maybe he's one we can still look at, but maybe we're doing a safer week. Maybe we don't. So.
Yeah, and again, I might bring it up what we're talking about for this Martingale strategy going in, just to remind you guys. But yeah, I think we're maybe going to do a bit of a safer week. So, anyone else that you want to talk about or do or mention, or we'll just save it all?
I think we'll chat off the air though for the Geelong West and Bulldogs game. We'll do a post for that one and post for Friday night. Yeah, the big fucking game. Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Let's go. That's going to be so good. But yeah, no, thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Again, sorry for the shit week. Trust me, I said it before in our last bad week, but no one feels worse than when we have an off week than like we do. Like, I genuinely feel like super shit. And sorry if I didn't respond to a lot of the comments. I'll respond to them in the betting portion. But yeah, we want to try and keep it good. But it's just sometimes you have shit weeks, and no matter how much research and footy you watch, it's just what happens.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll bounce back. We all feel it together. So
yeah, we've been through this before and we bounce back. So yeah, until then, we will chat to you guys in the next half of the video. All right, peace. Alrighty, guys. Jono and I are here for our round 11 tips. We're starting off the first game of the Saturday because we've had stuff on. Jono's away, thankfully blessing himself or blessing us with his time, even while on holiday, drinking bintangs all day and night. So I appreciate you coming here, Jono, and doing this while you're away.
No, happy to do it. Love doing it. Let's beat this fucking, I don't know what you call it.
Oh, this shit
let's
awful
get
patch.
Back on this wagon.
Actually, that's a great point to pick up. So before we go, you'll notice a theme of all these bets that are about to take place. They are all under $3. So it's very deflating, and John and I are kind of just like, let's just reel things back a little bit. So yeah, you'll notice nothing is too hard this week. Everything should be like 4 legs. I think there's maybe 1 5-leg, but they're all very short odds, very safe picks in our opinion.
Removed a lot of the little sweeteners that we like to call them. There's not too, I feel like most of the bets don't have those guys who are, just chuck them in for $1.10, where it's just like, let's just not have those risks. So,
yeah, or like the sub $1.10 risks is probably the awful sweeteners but yeah, so there's no point to the max the legs. So yeah, without further chatting, let's go into this game, the Carlton GWS, the Saturday game, 12:30, Marvel Stadium in Melbourne. And you'll notice as well, I did in the post, that John and I are going to start to include our favourite player. Not essentially a lock, like I think that's very strong, but just our absolute favourite player of this round, which I mean, yeah, fuck it, you could call it a lock almost.
Of the game. Just start the clock, by the way, mate.
Oh, yep, no, thank you. So that's for the game. So we picked Connor Iden. Connor Iden has had 1 miss, and that was 1 miss out of his last 28 games. Safe as houses. Adam Cerra has had that 1 miss, and that was when he had to go into the back line and help out 2 weeks ago when Haynes and McGovern went off. And Lockie Whitfield, I can't remember his 1 miss, but 24 posies. When he's missed by 1, love it. And Hewitt, I think, will feast against a depleted GWS midfield. Jono, you want to take over for 15s? Or
yeah, so just on that, this is probably the hardest game of this round for us to pick our golden player, because we liked probably the first 3 listed on there. We could have picked any of those 3, I feel like, for that one. Moving on to the 15s, there's one guy I really want to talk about. Toby Green, a lot of talk about him replacing Finn Callaghan in there. If we were going to probably include another leg, it would probably be him. I think you're right, James. But we're just a bit. We just like our guys there more than Toby Green, even though there's this midfield chat. I think you were saying, James, like if there was anyone that's going to have a position change mid-game, it'd be Toby Green, though. So if he starts mid, he could easily just get moved forward, though, too easily. So
yeah. I completely agree with that, because we were thinking about it, and Toby Green, yes, the midfield role is there. No Finn Callaghan, no Josh Kelly. I think he'll definitely get in the rotations, but yeah, if the game is on the line, or if whatever the heck happens, I don't know, but I think he could easily just go back on the forward line, and it's not a risk.
Yeah. And I think, and you can see there, look at Callum Ward, how short he is there. I feel like that's where all the people are seeing.
Oh, wow.
A lot of the people are seeing that's where it's going to go. I feel, and we're thinking, we're reading these articles saying it's Toby Green. It probably could just quite as easily be Callum Ward. So,
and then on that point as well, with their mids being depleted, I think that just kind of boosts our case for Hewitt and Chera. So that's where we've thought for that one. And look, Harry Himmelberg was probably one of my next ones to include. I'm really bullish on Himmelberg, but again, we're looking for a safer week, and all these players up here beat Himmelberg. So Himmelberg and Green are very next close to be included. One of my boys who I'm kind of sick of at the moment, and I think there is a time when you try and back their misses, but there's also a time when you just take a step back and just see what's going on. Because Jacob Ware was playing great on the wing, getting a lot of the footy, running really hard. His rotation at the last 5 minutes of every quarter on the bench is kind of annoying, but he's not only just missing, he's not missing, he's like missing by a lot. So it's like, okay, I don't want to bet on a player who I'm having to worry about for the whole game. I want someone who's got a bit more security at the moment. So
and there's nothing worse when your game starts out and like a guy like that, you look up and you're like,
he's on one posse. Yeah,
and you're like, wow, fuck! Now I'm just gonna have to watch this guy for the rest of the game. Absolutely shit. The only other one I mentioned before we go to the 20s, Nick Haynes against the old Mob.
Oh, yep.
God, been in good form lately too. Started the season pretty slowly, and could fire up a bit. Show a bit against the old Mob, but I feel like we're just going to stay. We're saying we like our picks anyway for this one.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point with Nick Haynes there. Jackson Binns as well. I think he's only had the one miss this year, and that was just by one posse last week. I just don't know enough about, and I'd rather just go players that I've watched a lot more of. Moving on to the 20 posse bracket, George Hewitt I've highlighted, even though we've gone for 25. I just think he's 1 cent more off from being a price that I actually like, and towards game time tomorrow, I think he could clock over just $1.10, so just keep an eye out for that. But the other ones who are more in the price bracket are Cripps and Chera. Do you want to speak about any of these guys? Or?
Yeah, well, this is probably leading on to how we say that with these depleted GWS team, we're seeing that Carlton's going to get a lot of this ball, and we also see, I feel like Cripps and Walsh are Walsh got tagged out of it last week. They're the shoe-ins to cop the Bedford tag. I think probably more Walsh than anyone else. So I feel like we stick with Hewitt. He's not the sexy tag. He's not the sexy guy to go after with a tag. So
yeah, no, I think you're right. I think George Hewitt is just the grunt, and I think Chera just completely goes under the radar there. There's zero chance any attention's going to Chera. So for $1.24 for 20, I think is very, very easy for Chera.
It's literally, and we'll talk to him now in the 25s. It could work in a benefit or it could work in a negative to Tom Green with this. Him being the lone wolf in there, does he just feast or does he just get so much attention? If you shut down Tom Green, you're going to win the ball in there, it seems. So does that really kill him for this 25? It's a bit of an issue, especially at $1.19. It's not enough.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I mean, I would almost consider Tom Green for well, it's kind of crazy, but I would consider Tom Green for 30 more than risking for this 25. As weird as that sounds, I would rather go for the value that he has a great game than kind of just get him across for 25 as that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think I can't remember if GWS or Carlton were favouring this game. I feel like if GWS is going to win this game, Tom Green's going to have 30.
Yeah.
So they're going to be struggling. It's going to be Bedford, Tom Green, and maybe Callum Ward and Toby Green in there. It's going to be a real shit fight. And Briggs up against DeConing. I really like Carlton to really just feast in that midfield.
Speaking about the odds, it was Carlton, I think, were $1.65 favourite to win. So, and I think Carlton, a very good chance to win. And that leads, again, we said the midfielders are going to definitely win the battle. meaning they're going to have more inside 50s. So where does that go? Lachie Whitfield. Lachie Whitfield, super consistent. We've got Connor Iden in the back as well. I really like Lachie Ash, but it's crazy to me. Like Lachie Ash has solidified himself in this 25 plus range because last year, no chance. But yeah, he's looking all Australian this year.
Yeah, and no offensive tag available. There's no Chincotta. There's no Cottrell. I feel like they both run free.
It's almost making me wish we sort of... Oh, I don't know. I like Whitfield and Ash. But yeah, I like Whitfield.
Let's back our boy.
Yeah.
Let's back our boy. So.
But the point is there that, we like both and we're trying to do it safe. So, yeah, like Whitfield. Being more reliable over a longer period of time. So, hence the Whitfield pick.
Only value for goal kickers I think we've got is Hogues for 2.
Yeah, so we've highlighted Cadman, but we've highlighted Hogan. The only worry is, he's 1 out of 3, but that one was that 7-hole game against Geelong where he could have kicked like 9 or 10. So, and coming off a miss, so I do like Hogan there. I really like Hogan. Again, if this was a different week, I would probably be including him. But did you?
I'd have Wiedering as the best one-on-one defender.
Oh, good point.
After Sam Taylor, who's on Jesse Hogan's team,
and Harris Andrews.
So.
I like Harris Andrews.
Well, Andrews is the more you're going to take your mark and stuff, but to keep a guy goalless, I really like Wiedering.
Yep, no, that is a great point. And when Carlton are the favourites, GWS, Hogan still kicks like a bag, not a bag, like 2 or 3, even when, they lose. So, look, I like it, but again, I think it just trumps, the other picks trump Jesse Hogan at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I actually really like Carlton in this game, surprisingly. I didn't think, a week ago I would have thought GWS win this easy, but now I'm looking at this roster, I'm like, oh, fuck. Carlton's got a lot of good players all across the field here, which they've had all year, but I think there's a lot of, GWS might be just ticking along.
Yep, so, if we would have bet on this game, I think it would be Carlton. I think we're both unanimous on that. All right, moving on to the next one. All right, on to the second game of the Saturday. It's the Hawthorn Lions game, and I think this is my favourite bet of the round. I'm just saying that to start this one off because, one, Darcy Wilmot I think is good value for Coleman not being back. Jared Berry is the best value I've ever seen for 15 plus, and he's coming off a concussion game, plays on the wing. He averaged low 20s at the back half of last year, and I think he's averaging high teens. So I just think 15 is an absolute walk in the park. The only concern was he got concussed last week, but that was because fucking Luke McDonald ran straight into him like an idiot. So as long as no one's running headfirst into Berry, lock. Scrimshaw, on the other hand, has been concussed twice this year. And again, concussions you can't really account for. It's not like they've got a weak hamstring or they've got a fucked knee or a shoulder. Like a concussion is that can happen to anyone.
Just happens.
Yeah. That can happen to anyone on the footy field. So considering that, $1.42, 10 out of 10, fantastic value. And that really boosts us up to almost $3. So I've said we're going under $3. It's very close. And for me, Josh Dunkley for 20. He falls behind Lachie Neale, Hugh McCluggage, Will Ashcroft, but he's absolutely delivering. I love Josh Dunkley.
Just a little lock. He just ticks away, gets his 20, does it easy every week. He'll get his match up on one of the Hawthorn mids and he'll just go to work. So
yep. No, I love that. If you take over, if you have anything to say about one of those players, or you go to the 15 if you want.
No, I think that the concussion thing, it is what it is. If Scrimshaw gets a concussion again, he'll be out for the season. It may be the end of his career. So let's
And I'm pretty sure he's hitting every game he's played without the concussion. So
and he's not a sub risk. In tactical sub risk, we've checked this out. He's not a tactical sub risk.
So, Jono and I just slightly brought up, yes, they have Sicily back there. Weddle only seems to play well in the back line. Barris, Battle, Impey is Amon. So there is a lot of players in the back line there, but you just can't. Scrimshaw's only misses a concussion. If he's playing the full game, we're backing him.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Onto the 15s. Oh, yeah, we've kind of already spoken, but yeah, your boy Barry's sitting there in 15s. The other guys.
So good.
Harry Morrison, he's a little hard worker and he ticks away. Connor Nash being back hasn't affected him this year. I don't know I think that it's just a bit of a risk there. Zach Bailey, I don't think we've gone him all year. I don't know. Maybe you know more about that.
I think I went him once. So Zach Bailey is a bit roller coaster for me. He can have, big games and small ones. I prefer consistency over trying to guess a player is going to have a great one. So that's just my preference.
And similar like Josh Weddle, if he plays forward, we hate it. If he plays back, we love it.
And the thing is with Josh Weddle, he played a quarter forward last week against Gold Coast. It was against Gold Coast. I think he had 0 or 1 posies in that first quarter. soon as he gets out of the forward line, man, he's a different player. So funnily enough, I really like Weddle. And to me, it kind of shows that they're willing to put up with Sicily struggling Sicily's having a weird year, but I think
horrible at the moment.
Yeah, so I think they're going to have him in the forward line if it does happen. Remember, you've got Marbio Chol and Kalshadir. Oh, Kalshadir's out, so actually someone will go forward for that one. But yeah, the point
Gunston's back.
Oh, yeah, good pickup. Yeah, so I like Weddle, but I prefer Scrimshaw.
It's the same with Sicily. When Sicily falls into the 15 bracket, we will be definitely going there 100%. But yeah, until then, we just leave him.
Yeah, 100%. So, I think it's just that role change. I just don't like a role change mid-game.
Nah. There's too many of those guys like that on this team.
Yep, completely agree. 20 posies, I've highlighted McCluggage and Ashcroft, but we're not taking like the $10s this week. We're not doing the sweeteners or anything. Josh Dunkley, though, I think he's just... Oh, I love him. He's so good. Carl Amon, I would take on any other normal day, but we've gone Scrimshaw, and I don't want to double down on any Hawthorn defenders while we've got a Brisbane defender, Brisbane midfielder. So, yeah, I really like that. Anyone you want to speak to?
Yeah, well, Levi Ashcroft, he's killing it. But I feel it's just we're a bit scared of him still being... Like, his first-year players, they're going to... He's kind of... It's almost like he's due for a miss in a way.
Yeah, I probably haven't spoken to you. I actually really like him. He gets a lot of sort of easy, not cheap footy, not damaging footy. So like the little 1-2s, or he'll be a mark on the wing, handball to his brother. He's getting a lot of the footy. I'm really loving Levi Ashcroft. As soon as there'll be a time where those 20 posies become like damaging, and he's going to be a great player. But I'm liking Levi. But just other picks at the moment.
Yeah.
You want to take over for the 25 or anyone else?
Yeah. Well, Zorko was one other guy now that with the out as well. We could have
one more week with no.
We could have. I feel like if you want to ride him again, ride him now. But I don't think we've left him out again. So it's just like, but we could have. Like, it is very tempting, honestly. It's Zorks, but I don't know. I feel like we were a bit worried. What's his name? Sam Mitchell loves. I feel like he's a very big on taking away a team's best weapon if he can, and he might look at Zorks in that kind of factor.
That was kind of, I thought for Neil and Zorko. So, like, I think Finn McGuinness is listed as emergency, is he not? And he's only been used as a tag, like, once this year. But, the point is, I think there will be definitely some attention there. Zorko can pop off, don't get me wrong, but there's just been a couple of signs this year where he's looked a little lazy and he's not spreading... he's not making space for handball receives and switching it, but that's just me.
Yeah, I feel like that's exactly right. I feel like, and Will Ashcroft, I don't think I like him too much for the 25 bracket that much.
That's more of a me pick. I'm very bullish on Will Ashcroft. He threw me off with that 13 posie game, but as soon as he got that, he's been looking great. So.
Sorry, I like him for 25, but I feel like I wouldn't... He's just outside the rest of these guys. Sorry, I should say. Yeah, no, but I feel like next year he's going to be that guy. But in a year's time, he'll be like on the paper every week for 25.
Will Ashcroft in this bet for me, if we were to include him, I know we're not, but he's like, you can only, in my opinion, only have one risky player. So he would be that player. For us, I don't think it's even that risky. We've gone Scrimshaw. So, like, there's no way we're doubling up in those players. But
no, don't need to.
Yeah, don't need to. Not at all. For the goal kickers, we've got Eric Hipwood. Only just because...
No value.
Yeah, well, there's a bit of value there when he's 10 out of 10, and he's, like, one of the only goal kickers there. So, $1.70... Yeah.
I agree, for one. It's just the Barras battle. Fuck, they, like...
Oh, yeah, Hawthorn have one of the best back lines, and Brisbane have the weakest forward line, so...
Yeah.
I'm just highlighting because Eric Hipwood is usually like $1.05 or something. So for Hipwood to be $1,
he's the lone fish down there.
Yeah, well, really Logan Morris is another, but you can't ask too much for him.
No, not yet. I like Logan Morris, don't get me wrong, but I feel like with no Sam Day there taking a body, no Darcy Fort even taking a body this week because he's playing ruck, it's a lot for Eric.
Actually, someone I'm highlighting, I'm just throwing this real quick, Loman the Showman. So he has had a very quiet year, and I think when he goes, has he played a game back at the MCG since last year? I'll quickly look this up.
Not since the Granny, I don't think.
I was about to say, so I reckon that's just going to, just inspire him to return to form because he's been injured.
If you wanted, like, we didn't go what's the name, Charlie Cameron to break the duck, but if you want to bet on, like, if you really want to bet on a guy to break a duck, it might be Cole Lohman. Good value. So
actually, because he's played Sydney, Gabba, the Saints game that was at the Adelaide Oval one, I think. Kangaroos at Tassie, Demons at he hasn't played MCG yet, so yeah, that's a nice little one we've just noticed. Anyone else you want to speak to, or we'll move on to the next one?
No, I think we're good to go.
Oh, nice. On to the Saturday night game, Marvel Stadium, North versus Collingwood. 1st versus 17th. Big discrepancy there. But I said we had one bet this week that had 5 legs, and it's this one, and I think it's for a very good reason. Everyone here is like below $1.25, but we're not going any like crazy sweeteners or anything. It's just when you've gone a couple of short legs, I feel like, and there's no other risky one that presents, I think this is also a good a bet to have. For $2.60, it's not presenting much value. Oops, I forgot to switch over to this thing. So do you want to take over from here and list these players? Let's like
I like Lipinski's a weird one, isn't it? He looks terrible when you hate seeing his name in your bet sheet, but then you look at his numbers, he's 10 out of 10, and he loves to feast on a bad team. Now, so I do like him a lot this week. I feel like this is the game where he comes out and he gets his 2 to 3 goals and he gets his 15 touches and everyone goes, oh, Pat Lipinski's great. So this is definitely one of those. And the other one would be Nick Dacos there. The reason we've highlighted him, he would have seen overnight Bailey Smith is now the favourite for the Brownlow. That's going to shit him up the wall, I reckon. So
yeah, I think Bailey Smith is probably like almost like 6 to 9 votes ahead. It's just the only reason Dacos is still like a very close second is because he's going to have a great back half to the year.
People are backing for what he's going to do, not what he's done.
Exactly. Yeah, and we think he will show that in a game against, second on the ladder. Yeah, I think Nick Dacos is going to fire.
Yeah, he's going to be looking at this going, all right, he's going to see what Bailey did last night, and he's going to go, I need to get 3 votes again here if I'm going to stay in touch here.
Yeah.
So I really like, that's the reason we've kind of highlighted him. The other ones there with the 15s, Tommy Powell, we know Wardlaw's in the team. I think we were betting him for 20 a couple of weeks ago. Now for 15, we actually like him no matter what's going on. So I really like that one. Dan Houston, don't know what's going on there. It's like 50. It's crazy that we're even getting him in the $15 bracket. You wouldn't have said that a year ago. So this is great that he's there. Maybe next week we start to look at him. We just need to see a couple of weeks of it though.
Anyone else you want to talk about? Well, Dan Houston, I could have easily switched in for like Tom Powell or LDU, but the thing is, I think Tom Powell and LDU's form is just better than Houston. So Houston has dropped to the 15, whereas like I still think LDU and like they're averaging like 3 more than what we need. I really like LDU, both of them. Caleb Daniel, you'll notice Zach Fisher's back in the side, but when Zach Fisher played a full game, Caleb Daniel still hit. And 20 posies, and I've said this in like 2 or 3 videos now, but Caleb Daniel's only main role in the North Melbourne side is to be their kicker. He's not there to spoil or intercept marking contests. He is there to kick and find a target up the guts, around the ground, whatever the heck. And there's also probably a point with Harry Sheezel that you might want to speak about. It's a good segue.
Yeah, like, so we haven't included Harry Sheezel here, which honestly, we've looked at his stats for the year. It doesn't actually matter where he plays, do they? Now, it seems first 6 round of the year, they had him playing in that midfield forward role. Then the last 3 weeks, he's gone into this defensive seagull behind the ball role. Last week, he went back to that midfield forward role. Now, if they're going to stick with that again, it only helps Caleb Daniel a lot. Look at his numbers last week. We saw a big spike there, back to that 25. If we can get him in the 20 bracket, it's great. I don't know if I'd be a bit scared about going back to him in the 25 bracket if it comes back again, but in the 20 bracket,
yeah, incredible. No, I completely agree. And that little bit of news really helped me just push me over the line for Caleb. Like, I didn't really need any pushing for Caleb Daniel for 20. I like him for 20, but just the news that Sheezel is kind of just stepping out a little bit just completely gets me over. There was probably only one other person for 15 I just wanted to touch on. Darcy Cameron, really bullish on him every other day of the week, but Tristan Cherry is in insane form. Mason Cox is in the team, he's on the bench, but like, just Darcy Cameron maybe another week type.
If it wasn't Cherry and Cox there, you'd probably go, let's go with it. But no, Cherry's just a fucking mountain.
Beast. He's a mountain of a man. In the 20 posi bracket, I really like LDU and Josh Dacos just while they're over that $1.10 mark. Josh Dacos, I'm bullish on for 25. So, but again, we're not doing like too many sweeteners, or if any, if we can avoid it this week. Luke Parker, who, it's funny how he hits every game of the year in North Melbourne colours. As soon as I'm like, you know what, I will bet on you, Luke Parker. Just, and it was against Richmond too. Like, what the fuck?
I wonder the Sheasel change. Did that impact that? I know his numbers didn't drop, but Sheasel's around that ball a bit more. Might have hurt him a bit. I don't know, but
potentially. I'm going to be honest. I didn't watch much of that.
I'll be watching. I'm going to watch this one, so I'll get let's have a look at him this week. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think the other one there we haven't highlighted, Jai Simpkin. I know. We've always had him for 15s and 20s. I'm scared off him now. I would take the. Sorry, I wouldn't highlight.
Oh, okay, sorry. But Jono said this in the review bit. I don't know. It's hard to describe, but when Jai Simpkin's in my bet, I'm just not confident. Yeah, I don't know how. Like, he's 8 out of 10. He's $1. Like, on paper that looks great, but there's just something, like, he is always struggling to get there. And I think like 3-4 weeks in a row, he was always under at halftime, and he's playing catch up every time. So I'm just kind of over him at the moment.
Yeah, exactly right. I 100% agree.
Yeah, 25 bracket. Jono had a good point about Dacos. I think he needs to fire if he's going to win the Brownlow. Harry Sheasel as well. Jono spoke about getting more minutes.
Doesn't matter where he plays, really.
And,
like 20 touches last week. Yeah, a bit worrying, but yeah.
Yeah, but again, I back a play to bounce back. Josh Dacos, who we actually got last week, who did bounce back, 29 posies. I absolutely love Josh Dacos, but yeah, I just couldn't include $1.46 Dacos when I've gone a couple of other, when we've gone.
If we were going to include another leg, it would be that, I think. Even though I know I feel like we're almost scared off at the value. Like, why is it so high?
The only reason I think we're scared off sometimes with a half backer is against a shit team. North, like, not to be rude, like a bottom 2 team at the moment.
They do give us a hard time though. And like their midfield should beat up on like a little bit on the Collingwood. Like Nick will do his thing, but they should beat up on the rest of the Collingwood midfield in there.
I just remember that Freo game 2 weeks ago where Freo got so much more of the footy, but Collingwood still won. So Collingwood could win the game, you're right, but North get a lot of the footy.
I don't know if they'll get the inside 50s, reap the benefits out of it per se, but I'm talking about centre bounces, I guess. Around the ground, I expect Collingwood to feast a bit more, but yeah, I don't know. You're right. Like, let's just stick. I think it's a kind of a trend we've taken in most of the bets this week. Teams, when they're playing where we think they could win big, we've stayed away from their halfbackers a lot.
Yep. So. Onto the goal kickers. Cameron Zohar, but something just goes against me betting for a goal kicker and the bottom of the ladder team versus the top of the ladder team. It just, I don't know.
10 out of 10 though.
I know. Exactly. It's one of those paper bets that look great, but just in reality, I don't know. But yeah, I don't have a reason to say no other than just a feeling in my stomach.
Yeah. Yeah, so and Collingwood also, I think they're top 2 for goals. Like, they concede the least amount of score. I think they're top 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, cool. Anyone else?
Nah, I think that sums up. I think this is a good bet.
Yeah, nice. I reckon too. All right, moving on. All right, on to the other last game of the Saturday. 8:10, Optus Stadium, Freo versus Port. This one, you'll notice, is probably our shortest bet this week. It's only $2.30. We'll get into it. There's not many players to highlight, but the ones that we do highlight, I'm pretty confident on. Willem Drew, Jordan Clark, Connor Rozee. So, Connor Rozee, as soon as he's been in the half-back line, oh my God, he has not missed. He's looked absolutely great. He is Jono and I's favourite this week against Freo at Optus Stadium. I think Freo are going to put on a good show. Port need a win. Connor's got his role in the back line there. I just think that is our absolute lock this week.
Yeah. And with the 90-point losses, if they're ever going to decide to change things up, it hasn't changed. I don't think they care. Like, they like him as their Dan Houston replacement, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, so, well, the only slight concern, I'm just realising this now, there's no Horn Francet. Yeah.
Yeah. Looking at the numbers last week, so Horn did it in 10 minutes into the game, I believe, or very early. There was no change there. Ollie Wines didn't even see it. The only guy that we saw, which we saw 2 weeks ago, but the only guy that actually kind of went in there was Bergman. And he wasn't tagging. So I think the Bergman tag actually gets pulled out again this week for once. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Connor Rozee had 28% CBAs. So, look, he's still getting 32. But the thing is, right, we love Connor Rozee in the back line. At worst, he's going into the midfield. What does that mean? He's around the ball. So, it's like his position change.
It's not like he's going into the forward pocket.
Yeah, exactly. So, at worst, Connor Rozee is going to be even closer to the footy. So,
I like him a hell of a lot more around the back line, though, that's for sure.
Yeah, I completely agree. Clark is just really good, consistent as they
Larry.
come. Yep, in the back line, not much more to say. Great runner. Willem Drew, again, he will probably have a decent amount of midfield minutes. CBAs around 60-70%.
And like the Horn Francis, he'd be one you're like, oh, yeah, he should see a little bit of an increase. So
Yeah, and he's more of the sort of defensive mid, but he can still easily get it. So really like that. Onto the 15 bracket, you can see there's only 3 we've highlighted. 1 we've included in our bet. The other 2 were just slightly too short for what we need. But you're really bullish on Luke Jackson?
yeah, Luke Jackson. Look at if you can see there, the only miss this season. So those 2 misses are early on in his 10 game sample were actually last year. The only miss this season was when Sean Darcy played. So, only miss. That is the only miss when they've played the entire game together. He's played one other game with him. Sean Darcy came off, got subbed off injured, and he hit. And whenever Sean Darcy doesn't play, he's arguably one of the best ruckmen in the comp. So if you want to add an extra $1.10, I really like him. And Shai Bolton, apart from that game, which was one of the worst games I've ever seen, he's looked pretty good this year too.
Yeah, so. If like we said, if this was another week, we'd probably be including those players to get us over to $3. But we're kind of over the short losses at the moment, so we're going 3 legs. We only need 1 to fail to have a bonus bet. There's no reason for us at the moment to include a bit of extra risk, but that's not to say we really like these players.
Yeah, I think this one it picked itself. This one kind of thing.
Yeah, literally not much to say. I can't even be bothered talking about the other players. I just don't really like Ryan Burton.
Yeah.
But Bergman. It's just way too short. It's not even enough to just speak about. Onto the 20. Ollie Wines as well, way too short. We'll probably play mid, but not for $1.13. Jordan Clark.
No, I can't believe if it was $1.30, yeah, would chuck him in, but not that value.
For sure. Luke Ryan I kind of like, but he's just been a bit too inconsistent.
Not at the 20s. You just don't know what you get out of him anymore.
Yeah, this one is very rough to talk about. I'm going to even struggle to find the 6 minutes for this one.
Yeah, the other ones though. Well, 25 where we see we've got the Butters, we've got the Brayshaw, we've got the Sarongs. They're the boys that you're like, you could have swapped out a bloody one of our picks there for one of these guys. I feel
in my list is literally just top to bottom. It's simple as that. We like Rosie the best. Butters I like second most, coming off a miss. The only thing is if just Freo do some stupid that Corey Wagner tag that they did against Dacos.
I think we'll see that. Yeah. I think we'll see it. But I don't think it's going to matter. So.
Well, it worked really well on Dacos. Yes, he was injured, but I think if anything sort of shows last week when Mullen was clamping down on Butters in the game a couple of weeks ago, Butters not doing much. Geelong just ran rampant. So you're obviously going to try and shut down your best player, which is Zach Butters. And I feel they're going to throw someone at him.
The Wagner tag, though, I think it's just Nick and Butters get a lot of ball. Obviously, Nick's not he gets a lot of contested positions as well. But Butters is more if you want to, he'll fight the bump a guy off the ball and get the real hard nut position.
Sorry, I just rudely interrupted Jono. My pizza arrived, so I had to quickly stop the clock. But Jono was just speaking about the Corey Wagner tag on Zach Butters, how we think that's... Yeah.
I think Butters was a type of guy that can bust through a Wagner tag. I think he's strong enough to push him off the ball, pick it up. Well, Nick's more run. He's still going to get his contested touches, but I think Butters is just going to get it. I don't think it's going to worry him. I wouldn't be surprised. They'll probably try and do it. Like you said, Mullen worked, but I feel like Butters should be okay. But obviously that's a reason we probably haven't included him in our bet there.
Yeah, I just think it's a bit of risk we just don't need at the moment. And then on the other side, we have Bergman, who started a bit of a tagging role. So that just caused concern for the Brayshaw. So I'm very bullish on Brayshaw, love Brayshaw, but just with how good that tag worked against Dawson last week, didn't really work against Geelong because they got thumped. But I just think they could roll the dice with that again.
Yeah, 100%. So, I don't think, moving on to the goal kickers, I don't think there's...
So again...
Patrick Voss.
I keep highlighting him. The only reason I just don't, because he helps in the ruck, but it hasn't stopped him from kicking a goal, so I will accept a couple times.
Yeah, you're right. The ruck, maybe when Sean Darcy comes back, we might like him a bit more, but he probably is out of the team then. That's the only thing. And I think, Sam Powell-Pepper there is usually pretty solid.
Yeah. So. Anyone else?
I don't think so. I don't like any of the Port, other guys for Port really for goals, but Bolton, probably not enough value is the only other thing. So
just quickly without notice, Mitch Georgiades, he is 7 out of 10 for 2 goals And while I look at this on the fly, he is $1.62. So I don't mind that. I haven't written it down, but just something to consider. $1.62,
Yeah.
7 out of 10. Pretty good.
Not bad.
Easy.
Okay.
All right, moving on. All right, moving on to the first game of the Sunday, the West Coast versus, who is it? It's Adelaide game. Our lock of the week, or, well, lock of the game. I keep saying week, but this player is pretty much our lock of the week. We've absolutely been loving Ryan Marrick. We've been riding it ever since he went into the back line there. Fantastic.
Oh, he's incredible. Obviously, some of the guys in the comments obviously noticed, and would have seen, everyone else would have noticed online, Goldstein and Nankervis got rested the week against Goldstein, so we lost our other sure thing of the week. But without Goldie there, we've got to go with Ryan Marrick. Fuck me, he's definitely our lock of the week, and obviously the lock for this game. So,
Yep. Absolutely love him back there. Plus, still no McGovern. I'm bullish on him for 25, but we're going to go 20. Another player, well, two of these players I'm very bullish on. Liam Baker has only had one miss in West Coast colours, and that was a 20 last week, so I am more than happy for him to have just one miss and then jump on him.
Funnily enough, in a win, I don't think they'll win this week, so back to his normal losing, he should be fine.
So I really like Liam Baker. The other one, Isaac Rankin, so he has had that one miss against Essendon where he got subbed. He only played 3/4 of the game. The other one was the miss against Freo, where all of Adelaide players underperformed, and then he had a genuine miss against Port. So, but I really like Rankin because he's playing a bottom. I think the West Coast were the bottom of the ladder, right? Or are they? Anyway.
They're bottom.
Yeah, so he's playing West Coast.
Yeah, they're bottom.
Playing West Coast, and he's going to have midfield minutes. I just think everything, this is a game for Rankin to get 25 and 2 goals. So I really like Rankin for this one.
Yeah, and I think he he's definitely not a downskill skier. Definitely not. He's a great player in his own right. But I feel like what against Carlton a couple of weeks ago where they were pumping him, he got a 29. So I feel like he'll get on the out. I can't see West Coast trying to even tag. Why would you? Why just let the kids play? So
yeah. No, on to the rest of the 15. I've highlighted Liam Duggan, Jack Graham. They've only missed once. 14 for Jack Graham, 14-13 for Duggan, $1.18. I don't know. Just there's other value that here we can find. Oh shit, that's not $6 odds. That's $2.32. I haven't updated all this. Harley Reid, Jono, you're probably more bullish on Harley Reid.
Yeah, I like Harley Reid. I don't think we've included him last couple of weeks, but he's fit now. He looks really good in there. He's playing a lot more midfield time. He's getting to 50. Probably the one thing that scared us off, probably just including him. He just got to 15 last week. He looked great. He looked incredible. But I think James, like you said, that forward time worries us a little bit. But
that's probably the only thing on my mind. Just if he plays all mid, love it. But it's just some of the forward minutes that are just not quite, getting it for me. I like Sam Berry if he's playing the full game, but just not quite enough for me to just risk it yet. I think he's going against West Coast. I think he'll play the full game. Luke Pedler's in. I think Sam Berry will hit, but I just don't need to include him at this point. Someone who I'm jumping off, Ben fucking Keys, who has been 10 out of 10 before, right? As soon as we start betting on him, look at this garbage-ass form. He's now one in his last month. Boy, man, we have just been absolutely shafted.
And Pedler's only going to impact him, I think.
So, Ben Keys, look, he's a great runner. He tries really hard. He gets burnt by his teammates, and he gets 90% game time. So I don't know.
He must be the most hated guy in the locker room, I reckon.
I think so, because he on the surface he looks like such a hard worker, and then just never used. So I've had enough of Ben Keys. Not Ben Keys himself, just him and what is going on at Adelaide. So I need to sit.
Yeah, exactly. Worrell, there's no reason for us to not go Worrell other than we think Adelaide's going to pump him. The ball might not be down there enough. That's really it. So.
That was our only thing. We had Worrell in this bet to start off with, and then we're just most teams who play West Coast, the backmen just suffer. So that was our reasoning for Worrell there. On to the 20. Obviously, the first one we've picked there is Ryan Marrick. Rory Laird, similar as Worrell, I like. We got him last week after the miss. He bounced back. But again, it's against West Coast. Look, he might get low 20s or something, but I would much rather go Rankin. I'd rather go a mid-forward in a team where you think they're going to absolutely pump him. So,
yeah, interesting all 20s for our actual picks, which is funny in this one. But I actually like... I I know you said earlier that it was Brisbane was maybe your favourite bet. I think this is my favourite bet of the week, this one.
Yeah, this one would definitely be up there. This one does look really good overall. And again, just remember, we're all doing under $3 odds, so that's why it's $2.30. We're not doing anything crazy. If we would, then we'd be adding in other legs, but I really like these plays for 20.
Yeah, 25, Jordan Dawson. Probably no reason to not go him there. Like we said, we just like our picks better. I think's the only reason on him. Ryan Marrick, we could have got for $1.85, but why would we when we can get him at $1.22 and be pretty safe on the 20?
Yeah, you'll see coming up for the Gold Coast game, John Noble is the exact same price, and it's like, yes, you could, but as John was saying, like $1.20 is already pretty good odds, and I feel like that is like lock territory for those players. Isaac Rankin, I said I think he'll have a great game, but I don't necessarily like betting on players who I think they're going to pop off against the bottom team. I like a bit more consistency, so his consistency for me this year lies in the 20 posi bracket where he's getting more midfield minutes.
Yep, exactly.
Goal scorers, I've highlighted Neil
Fuck
Bullen.
off, Ben Keys.
Yeah, I've highlighted Ben Keys, but I'm not going to take
no
him.
fucking way.
He's coming off a miss. He's versing a bottom team. Look, everything is there. Everything's there for him, but I think the community, I think we've just kind of had enough of Ben Keys at the moment. But saying that, he's going to kick 20 in a goal.
I don't want to watch this game on the weekend and be like, oh, great, all the legs have hit, and I just need Ben Keys. And I just don't want to do that.
It's happened I'm not even kidding, I just don't want to make it a month. It's happened 3 weeks in a row. I'm not making it 4, where he's on one posi at quarter time. He has had no shots at goal at half. Like, I'm so over it now.
What even 2 weeks ago, we had him for touches, and he kicks 2 and then doesn't touch it. And you're like, great.
So over it with Ben Keys at the moment. So highlighting him. If you guys want to go for it, go ahead. I'm tapping out.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I've highlighted Neil Bullen just because he's consistent. It's $1.50 against a bottom team. Great runner. Plays he plays a similar, not like similar role, but he'll come in the midfield a little bit and play half forward. So I like Neil Bullen's role, an opportunity to kick a goal there. But I would almost go like fucking Phil Thorpe for 2.
Or even a Rochelle, just a little bit less odds. Could have a bit of a day out. So
Yep. No, easy. Let's move on to the Sunday games. Oh, wait, this was Sunday. Let's move on to the second Sunday game.
Nice.
On to the second last game, Melbourne-Sydney. We have not placed this bet yet, just in case things change, and plus I don't have any more of those same game refund token things, so we'll play it by ear. But that being said, I do like these picks. Ed Langdon, still while he's over $1.10, just to bump up that little bit. Chad Warner is our favourite. His one miss this year has been the sick game where he was subbed off against North Melbourne. Otherwise, he's been fantastic. He's hitting some great form, averaging 26 over his last 3. Matt Roberts, in my opinion, had a quiet game last week against Carlton. He got a 20. And to me, if that's his quiet game, I think he's good for 25. And Trent Rivers is flourishing. Now he's playing back more in the midfield, and they're really putting Clayton Oliver as like a tagger at the moment. So.
Yeah, exactly. And we still haven't seen Viney come back.
Yep, no Viney this week.
I think we're still sweet on that front. Ed Langdon as well. Probably could have got the gold as well. It was a top coin flip between him and Chad, I think.
Yeah, kind of what weights. Yeah, Chad Warner just being the $1.20. I know we're not trying to go our locks just for price at the moment. It's more form. Yeah. But yeah, Ed Langdon's getting a lot of it on the wing there.
Yeah. Onto these guys. Yeah, Ed, obviously the pick of the bunch. We spoke about Blakey the other day. Maybe if it was just a slightly higher odds.
Yeah, for sure. So... Nick Blakey did not look like himself for that first half of footy. And I was like, yep, I'm going Nick Blakey next week no matter what. But man, $1.15, come on, give us just a little bit more just after a shit game like that. But yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit higher and I think we'd be off to the races. But yeah. So, I still like him, but yeah.
No, completely agree. Other players, Riley Bice, who I've been bullish on, I haven't highlighted. Callum Mills is back, who we also haven't highlighted. Don't know what's going to happen. Just enjoy these players returning. Callum Mills has played, 7 games of footy in 2 years.
I think he's a definite sub-risk.
Oh, definite sub-risk. Like, he's not... For him to be $1.12 is laughable. Like, that's crazy. Why risk that for $1.12 for Callum Mills?
100%. So,
yeah, I'd much rather go like Langford or something. Like, I'd go Ollie Florent. So Ollie Florent missed 2 games in 2024. He's now missed 2 games in 2025. I think he is great. I didn't include his sub game last week, and I was surprised he was starting sub last week. But yeah, I really like Ollie Florent, so no reason for... look, I could have easily included him, but it's just some of these players beat him for the bet slip.
Yeah, definitely. Onto the 20s. Chad picks himself. We do think that the very new Clayton Oliver tag role if it's going to go to anyone, we think it'll be Heaney. That's the only factor there that really probably stopped us, which I'm not really scared. I don't think I'm scared of Clayton Oliver having a real impact on Heaney's touches. I think you quite easily could include both Heaney and Warner and be pretty safe.
Yep, and because Neil popped off last week, even with the tag, and look, Clayton Oliver still had a good game. I think 20 for Clayton. I was bullish on Clayton Oliver for 25 this year, but if he is $1.26 for 20, I really like that. I know he is all over the place. He's had personal leave. He's playing a tagging role. Everything is fucking in a basket case for Clayton Oliver at the moment, but he's still presenting value. So I don't mind it, but I just would rather Trent Rivers
I think you've just got safer bets out there. So,
Completely agree. No one else that I would really include. Look, I could highlight Christian Salem. He had that one poor miss a couple of weeks ago, and then the rest have been very close. Max Gawn, your ruckman, going up against Brodie Grundy. Max Gawn is in huge form. He's only missed one posi in his last month and a half. But again, just not quite enough for me to highlight. Our boy Bowie has completely lost his value. Someone we were getting for $1.60 is now $1.19. If he goes over $1.20 before the bounce, I would include him and swap him out for
I think the reason was another reason as well. Jake Lever's back. We haven't really seen Jake Lever and Stephen May play together since Bowie started being their big pig in the back line. So I want to see what happens. I assume he'll still be the pig, but because he's the future there. But it'll be just interesting to see.
He doesn't bother me as much just because Lever's only good for 10, 11 posies or something. So still like Bowie, but it might be good to watch first. In the 25, I've got Christian Petrarca.
Only track.
Yeah, and the rest, I don't know, not great to pick from. I mean, only Petrarca there. He's the only one who's getting a lot of CBA minutes. He's really stepped up for Melbourne, how Clayton Oliver's dropped off, so like Petrarca. In the goal kickers, not much to pick from. Will Hayward, but $1.14, I wouldn't. Chad Warner has usually been a lot more consistent for goal kicking, so it's weird to see him have a couple of misses.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, I don't think there's anyone. Obviously, you're never going to bet on any Melbourne player probably to kick a goal other than Cozzy Pickett, but there's not enough value there.
Yeah.
So,
No, easy. We've flown through this one, but again, any changes we're going to post on the Sunday bet section if this bet changes. You good to motor on?
Yeah, sounds good.
Oh, nice. On to the last game of the round, St Kilda versus Gold Coast. I know I said the Brisbane one was probably my favourite bet, but this one actually made me stop and place the bet with no bonus bet guarantee. So I liked this one straight away. I wanted to do it. They're all 9 out of 10, sorry. John Noble has probably been my favourite player this year to bet on.
It's probably behind Marek. He's probably the most safe lock.
Yep, for 20, I think is an absolute certainty for 20. And then in a very similar position on the other end of the ground, Wangani Miller, he's had no reason for us not to bet on him for 25. I think he is absolutely just popping off. Fantastic this year. Green and green. And our player below that, Jack Higgins, green and green. Jack Higgins, you would never think for 2 goals a game, but he is having a stellar year. Awesome. I think that game where he got the 1 goal, he had a bunch of scoring shots too. So I really like Jack Higgins.
He's their only avenue.
Yeah, and not to mention, in the game where he was sick and subbed off, he kicked 2 goals before half-time. And then he kicked 5 against West Coast in a loss. I think Jack Higgins, just getting my bet at the moment. No reason not to.
Yeah, and he's very good at just drawing it. You'd be like, oh, he's not getting enough ball. And he'll just draw a free kick. And you're like, all right, sweet. He's got an easy shot. Done.
Yeah.
So,
and he's hungry too. He will run. He's passionate. He'll get the crowd hyped. I know this, I think, this game is at Marvel. So,
even better.
Yep.
Even better if it's at Marvel. On to the 15s, though. Ryan Burns, our boy, we love to back. I would be very happy to back him again. So,
his value is literally gone. We were getting him for $1.67, $1.50.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I would back him again. My concern last week was Mason Wood coming back, but it didn't. Mason Wood played in the forward line. He missed horribly. So I like Ryan Burns there on the wing and the half back role. Completely agree. I've highlighted a couple of others on the other kind of scale. Hold on 1 second. I'm just going to pause my video. I think we've lost Jono. Alrighty, we just lost Jono, but you're stuck here with me for the last one. He just internet cut out while he's away, but appreciate him being here while he's away on holiday. I think we were just speaking about Darcy Wilson, so I really like him. It's still playing, the wing half forward role for St Kilda, but I would take Ryan Burns more. The two backline players in the 15 posi bracket for Gold Coast, so I really like Joel Jeffrey. As soon as I highlight him, he was like 8 out of 10, and then he missed 2 in a row, bounced back to 12. Look, I like Joel Jeffrey, but I just don't think I have to take that risk when I can get John Noble for $1.22. And it's the same with Yuland. That's crazy. $1.62, 8 out of 10. His 2 misses have been 13 and 12. Yuland has been fantastic. He's averaging 20 in his last 3. I really like that. If Noble wasn't here, I'd be taking one of them, no doubt. That is insane value for Bodie Yuland. Yeah, that is great. Literally, like I said, no John Noble, but Bodie Yuland doesn't necessarily he doesn't have that hunger like Joel Jeffrey and John Noble have. Bodie Yuland just wins the footy just by beating his opponent, making, providing a bit of help with the switch and stuff. But I want someone who just, John Noble getting 1 kilometer in meters gained last week. Jesus, that's huge. Onto the 20, sorry. Took Miller, one of the best defensive or, two-way running mids of the game. $1.18. I think against St Kilda with no Jack McRae. There was someone else as well, which I can't remember off the top of my head. But I really rate Took Miller. $1.18, I still think it's pretty good value. Oh, I'm just having a look. Hunter Clark is in. It's Hugo Garcia. I remember John telling me about him. But yeah, Zach Jones, Hunter Clark should come in and maybe fill a bit of that role. Either way, I still like Took Miller. John Noble, my boy, I can't sing his praises enough. Dan Rioli, I could highlight. I'm just, out of all the backmen there for Gold Coast, he's probably my least favourite. I would go Noble, Jeffrey, Yuland, Rioli before him. I mean, I would probably go Rioli before Powell. There's a lot of options to pick from there. And yeah, John Noble is by far my favourite. So freaking good. Onto the 25s. Noah Anderson. He's been fantastic. He's had 1 miss from the tag. I forget the 24. Super close though. Getting so much of the footy. The only thing to maybe just little consider about is the Windhager tag. I don't think it'll happen. Windhager hasn't tagged, I think, in his last 2 weeks. He's been back on the wing. Although, admittedly, I didn't watch the West Coast St Kilda game because I was coming back from the Gabba. So I don't know what he did there. I don't think they would have had anyone to tag in the West Coast game or a reason for it. But yeah, if there is a slight chance, I think it's going to go to Anderson. Wanganeen Miller, though, he has been looking fantastic off halfback for St Kilda. He's so silky, smooth, effortless, just such a great kick. Awesome. So he's 1 miss, 24 posi, super close. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. Was it against Carlton or Doggy or something where he got taken off with a sore ankle, came back on and still just absolutely smashed it out of the park. Wanganeen Miller has only had 1 miss by 1 posi, $1.42. Absolutely no reason not to bet on this week. Looks fantastic. So included him. The other player on the other end, I could have easily gone John Noble. I'm trying to restrain myself and have low risk bets this week, which is why this one's probably the most expensive or the highest odds we have this week at $2.95. But yeah, I could have easily gone John Noble. He's missed 1 in a month and a half of footy. He's missed 2 in 2 months. I'm pretty sure that 19 was to start the year off. He's looked great for 25. So bullish on John Noble. I will probably change my mind and bet on him later as we get closer to the game, but really liking what I'm seeing there. Took Miller, yeah. Jack Sinclair, I'm probably 38 against the West Coast game, so I do like Jack Sinclair there, but I can't pick him when Wanganeen Miller is just a bit more consistent. So that's the rationale for that one. Goal kickers, not many. Not many I like for one, I was going to say. Malcolm Roses, I think has only played the 1 game this year, and I wasn't bullish on him because I wasn't sure if he was going to get subbed or not. Out of all the players that I thought were going to get subbed, this is against the St Kilda, the Doggies game a couple of weeks ago. But so he's had the 2 now. Hawthorn, that's right. So yeah, he kicked he kicked one in that game. He missed his first game back. Sorry. So yeah, this is his second game. He missed in the Doggies game where I thought he was going to get subbed for his first game back and maybe not doing too much, have a rest. Kick one against Hawthorn, great. So green and green, usually yes, I would include, but I think I'm just going to leave for now because he's only played this 9 games of footy in 2 years. So I would much rather go Jack Higgins for 2. He is in great form, so far more confident in Jack Higgins for 2. But I mean, fuck, I could highlight Roses, but I just wouldn't go in myself. Anyway, so that is the bets and stuff we've done this week. It's been a bit shit. Yeah, hopefully we turn it around. We've gone a bit safer this week, and we'll probably do a bit more of those after we have a couple of bad weeks, because I think we've had like 3 or 2 bad weeks out of 3, or it hasn't been great recently, especially after such a great start to the year. It's really deflating having a couple of stinkers in a row. So we'll revert back to lower stake odds, and hopefully we bounce back before we going back to $3 or more. So thank you so much again, guys. Again, thank you for the comments, like the comments on the post. I love watching the games and like checking the YouTube comments at like quarter time, half time, seeing what everyone else is thinking or how the game's tracking. Might lead me to do some sort of Discord or live viewing thing later on, but for the meantime, it's great to just, watch the footy and hear how you guys are enjoying it too, and who you also pick. Like I see the bets the players you include for your bet, and asking me as well, because like I pretty much watch every game. I couldn't because the Sunday game I was out for the Brisbane game, but if there's no reason for me to go to a game or be out, I watch every game of footy. So I really appreciate that. Or just the questions that come through. I love the questions. I love the interaction regardless. So thank you so much. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the views. Really appreciate it. Jono will be back. I don't think he has any more holidays, so he'll be back pretty much for every video from here on out, unless something crazy happens. But yeah, until then, hopefully we have a much better round 11, and I'll be chatting to you guys next week. Peace.